Hi everybody, it's me, Kristen. Not feeling too well, but I wanted to make a video anyway. I wanted to make kind of a response video to Grumpy Chuck's video. He made this wonderful video, you guys should see it, about how he ended up in the Netherlands. And he said, well, how did you guys end up where you are? So I thought I'd make a video. I guess I've never really talked about where I am. So I live in Vancouver, Washington, which is just across the river from Portland, Oregon in the United States. And I was born in Astoria, Oregon, which is on the Oregon coast. And I probably would have been born in Seaside, Oregon, but they didn't have a hospital there at the time. So I was born in Astoria, and it's kind of a small coastal town, and but I only lived there for like 6 months when I was a baby, and then my parents moved to Vancouver. And so I lived in Vancouver I lived in Vancouver ever since I was like 6 months old. And then the first time I moved was when I went to school in New York. I moved to New York City to go to college, and I was there like a year, and then I came back, and then I moved to Seattle. And I really, like, when I was in New York, I was really depressed, and I thought it was just the college, you know, like, oh, I just hate it because it's college, and you know, maybe if I was at a different college, I'd be happier and stuff like that. So I moved to Seattle, went to a different college, and just like went completely crazy. Just like out of my mind, psychotic for like a long time, and suicidally depressed and stuff. Like, it was pretty bad. And my parents came up and got me because they were so, like, I was house sitting, babysitting for these people. Well, first I was babysitting, and then they went on a vacation, and I was house sitting for them. And I lived in their like basement area, kind of, and so I always felt really bad because I just left there, and I don't know if the mother came home or what, because like the dog ran away, and just, it was like I couldn't even function though. It was really bad. I seriously could not function at all, and I had some jobs, and I just kind of left, and so I came back to Vancouver, and then I went back to New York, actually, back to school there again, and I had spent part of the summer in the psych ward, so I had been put on medication and stuff, and yeah, so I was still not adjusted to the medication when I went back to school in the fall. So I saw the school psychiatrist, and it didn't really work out too well because I was just switching medications all the time and just not really stable, and just really tired, you know, because like antipsychotics really make you tired, and you know, it was just, I couldn't function, like I couldn't get anything done because I was sleeping all the time. So I was like, why am I wasting all this money to be here? I need to leave. And so I left again, and after that semester, and then I went back to Vancouver. I lived there with my parents for a couple of years, I guess, and worked pretty much full, like, between 30 and 45 hours a week, which drove me completely crazy too. And I just like on and off medications, and I couldn't stand my parents because I didn't get along with them at the time. And then So I finally decided I'm getting out of here. And I found the cheapest way to get out, which was to go to the college that was nearest to me. So I ended up at Portland State, and I just did it because they had dorms that were available and stuff. So that's kind of how I ended up at the college where I stayed for where I'm still there years later. So I lived in Portland for, I guess, maybe 5 or 6 years, 5 years. And was just on and off meds, in and out of hospitals, psychotic and depressed and suicidal, attempted suicide, very alone, just, isolation was so terrible. And my parents tried to contact me and stuff, but I just didn't really want to talk to anybody. I wanted to be around people, but then I couldn't even talk to people. So I had a few different therapists, and then in 2000 I moved out of the apartment where I had been living in for 4 years, and because I was paranoid and stuff. And then I moved to this really crappy, this other apartment. It was fine for the first few months, and then a downstairs neighbor moved in, and he was total asshole, and basically made up all these stories about how noisy I was and stuff. Got me kicked out of the apartment. So I had to leave, and I didn't have any money, so I went back to home to my parents, and it was, I guess, a blessing in disguise, because I don't know what would have happened if I hadn't ended up back with my parents. So I moved into their garage, which is where I am now. And, but it has heat and electricity and everything, so, it's not bad. And I, use the rest of the house also. But, so this is getting long, I guess, but that's my life in a few minutes. So I guess, the year 2000 was a stellar, crazy year. I went really psychotic, and it was kind of funny because it was that weird election year where, they had miscounting of votes and stuff, and the whole election was put on hold, and it was just really crazy, and I'm like, oh, it must be because they're waiting for my vote. I actually thought that, and I'm like, oh, the whole election centered around me, and because I happened to be in the hospital at the time of that was happening, and I was like, wow, it really is true. So that was really funny. That was really crazy. I was like, wow, that's bizarre. And it's weird when the whole country has gone bizarre and you're thinking that craziness is related to you somehow. That was funny. So 2000 I spent mostly insane. I finally, I'm surprised I didn't wind up dead. I tried to jump off a bridge, and they had to pull me back over the railing, and I was down by these train tracks once, and I'm surprised I didn't get run over by a train. I was walking around without shoes in the city, which in the cold, and I did sleep on the streets a few times, and in Seattle, I would like to go there. I tried to defect to Canada, and they wouldn't let me in. And just so many weird things happened that year. And then I finally ended up in the hospital and got on the right meds, and so I've been just living here in Vancouver ever since, and my time is about up, so I guess that's it, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, talk to you guys later. Bye.